Nurturing and growing your wealth is what drives Cal. Because we firmly believe a family business is first and foremost a business family. Our new brand symbol is a representation of this philosophy, a design inspired by the interlaying weave of the nest, a universal symbol of trust, protection, and family. Home to the golden egg that symbolizes wealth and prosperity. A spherical form that represents dynamic movement. With the colors that represent trust, finance, innovation, and evolution. All coming together to embody a unique visual identity, ready to take on a world of endless possibilities.
A very good evening to our extended Cal family, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch of the initial public offering of Capital Alliance Limited, fondly known as CalT or Cal Treasuries. Before we head to the agenda, I would like to request you all to have your mics on mute during the presentation, and if you have any questions, please share it with the admin via the platform, and this will be taken at the end. I would like to do a round of introductions to the members of the head table. At our right corner is Ms. Shamali Pereira. She is the Chief Risk and Compliance Officer of the Cal Group. Next to her is Mr. Somadasa Paliyavadana, the Managing Director of Capital Alliance Limited. Mr. Ajit Fernando, Group CEO of the Cal Group. Mr. Sandro Silva and Mr. Damien Ryan, members of the Capital Alliance Limited dealing team. CalT is the securities trading arm of the Cal Group, which includes stock brokering, asset management, research, private equity, and investment banking. To share with all of you the journey of Cal, I would like to invite our founder and Group CEO, Ajit Fernando, to address everyone.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. And thank you for being here on this occasion. It's a very special occasion for us. The journey that started 21 years ago has come to this. And it's also really strange that along the way we have taken so many companies public, and it seems kind of strange that now we are taking one of our own companies public. It's a bit surreal, to be honest. And so I'm once again very grateful to all of you for having taken time off to be on this call. Going public, as you know, is the ultimate goal or is the ultimate ambition of a startup. And it is enormously satisfying to me to see that we have reached this point. Let me just give you a brief, history of how we got here, the journey that we got here. And more importantly, also, I would like to touch upon why we started Cal and what our main purpose is. So we started this company 21 years ago with just 3 employees. It was a very small company, and our main purpose was to deal in government securities. Along the way, somewhere maybe 2-3 years later, we were appointed as a primary dealer for government securities. And at this point, I must thank the Central Bank of Sri Lanka for having the confidence in us to appoint us as a primary dealer. Because we were a small company, of course, they knew the team, and the confidence they placed in us, I'm very grateful to them for. So as a primary dealer, we were dealing in government securities only, and that was our core business because central bank restricts your business. But we also realized that there was a big need for corporate debt. So somewhere along the way, we also got into corporate debt securities. Now that brings us to the purpose of why we started the company. When a frontier market such as Sri Lanka is developing, one of the things that we noticed is that the securities market or the capital market always lags behind the banking sector. So this is a big issue, and we thought that we should support the growth of the country by developing the capital markets of Sri Lanka. So that was our main purpose, to help the growth of the country by developing the capital markets. So we started off as a primary dealer and then got into corporate debt. And we then realized that, look, we can't just be in debt securities only. We have to also get involved in the equity markets. That's when we got involved with the stockbroking business, as well as the corporate finance business, where we do M&A transactions and various things. But at that point, we had another revelation. That is that a lot of people wanted to access the capital markets, but they didn't know how. So that is where we got into asset management business. And I think we are one of the largest, if not the largest, one of the largest asset managers at the moment in the country. And our whole business, the 4 areas of business encompasses the capital markets, and we help it in 2 ways. On one side, we allow companies who want to raise money to access the market and raise money. On the other side, we allow people who want to invest in the market. We give them a way to access the market, because sometimes they may not be able to do that on their own. So as a primary dealer, coming back to the primary dealer company, because that is what we are going public with today. This is the oldest company in the group. We started off with this, and it still forms the bulk of our business. I mean, some years as much as 80–90% of our business comes from this. So what do we do as a primary dealer? I mean, it's a very unique business proposition. We, as a primary dealer, are the counterparty to central bank in their when they want to issue securities for the government to borrow money. So we collectively, all the primary dealers, underwrite each and every auction of government securities. Now, you can understand that this is a big market. Each week, it's roughly 50 billion or more that's been offered. And with a 2.5 billion equity book, we can't do much about it. So that's where we get into the leverage game. We borrow as much as 10 times of our equity from the market. So we carry with an equity book of 2.5 billion, we can carry a total portfolio of up to 25 billion in the business. So how do we make money? The bonds that we carry are very sensitive to interest rates. When interest rates go up, the value of the portfolio that we carry will fall, and vice versa. When the interest rates fall, we tend to make money because the value of our portfolio goes up. Now, as you can imagine, when you are leveraged and when you are dealing in a market where interest rates are volatile and drastic in their changes, this gives enormous opportunity for us to make money. But you must remember that when there's enormous opportunity to make money, the risk of losing money is also as high. So that is where our skill, our technical skill, come into play. So we do 2 things. On one side, we use a lot of data. We use data-driven models in order to try and forecast or predict interest rates in order to decide what we should do with our portfolio. But that's one side of the story. On the other side, we also do a lot of work on the risk management side, because and that is something that we are very conscious of, and from day one, we have been focusing on our risk management. We also have to understand we are a regulated business. So as a regulated business, what we do is we encompass our data-driven trading policies with our stringent risk management, and we encompass this through our regulatory mechanisms and our compliance. And that's what's unique about CAL. I think if you go by the financial results, you can see all our financial results are there for everybody to see, so I don't need to talk too much about it. But what I can do is also tell you that I would like to thank all of you all for being with us and for supporting us in many ways over the last 21 years. And I look forward to having you all partners in our future journey as well. With that, I would like to hand over the mic to Damien to talk you through some of the technical aspects of our business. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, so far you all have heard about our story on who we are and what we do. Let me give you a little bit of background on our industry, our business, and our operating landscape. At 8.6 trillion, government securities market is the largest market in the country. It's twice as big as the listed equities in terms of market size, and twice as big again as the listed equities in terms of average turnover. When I was a newbie to Cal and to the bond market, the first question I had in my mind was, if this is a profitable industry, why aren't a lot of people trading bonds? And why aren't there many primary dealers? The answer being, this market has high barriers for entry. To be a primary dealer, it requires a license that needs to be issued by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. There is a strict regulatory framework to be a primary dealer. There is a core capital requirement that keeps increasing, but most importantly, this is a knowledge industry. It requires the know-how and expertise to trade bonds. Primary dealing industry as a whole has made a ROE of 28%. Where does CalT stand? CalT's average ROE is at 31%. And on several years, we have made 40% and above returns to the shareholders. So how are we profitable? What makes us different and what is our key strength? We are not just traders who trade based on our gut feeling. We make our trading calls based on numbers, data-driven models. Over the last 20 years, we have managed to invest heavily on technology, which has allowed us to innovate and build trading models and interest rate forecasting models. We have these proprietary models which are built in-house, which allows us to forecast interest rates and other macroeconomic developments. We have a strong industry network. To have a capital of 2.4 billion and to be running 10-15 billion book is no easy task. Over the last 20 years, thanks to our credible business practices, we have proven to be a credit-worthy counterparty to other market participants such as banks and primary dealers, which has allowed us to leverage and obtain funding, repo, and credit lines from other financial institutions. Third point, our prudent trading strategy. Bond trading, it's not just about forecasting the interest rates. It's also about timing the market. You need to know when to get into the market, but most importantly, you need to know when to get out of the market. Our ROE is an example why our trading strategies have been on point. Last but not the least, this is one of our key strengths that we take pride on, our risk management strategy. We have a 3-tier risk management framework and trading limits, which basically means the dealing room and the dealers have a clear idea on how much the shareholders are willing to put at risk, and we trade within those limits. So this is why exactly we take pride in our risk management models. If you all can see, even during the years when the interest rates have moved up, it's for the industry, there is high chances of making capital losses. But if you take Capital Alliance, even during years where the interest rates have moved up, we have ensured to preserve the shareholders' capital. Thanks to our 3-tier risk management framework, which starts within the dealing room, where we have internally set limits, and then it moves to the independent risk committee and the group risk and compliance unit. And on top of the chain, we have the board audit committee, which is the internal audit function. This is the team that runs the show. Most of these names are already familiar in the financial markets. We have a couple of 30-year-olds who bring fresh perspective and ideas into the business. And also, we have industry veterans who have over 30 years of experience in just primary dealing. That's how diverse the team is, and that's one of our key strengths. To sum it up, you all gain access through CalT to the largest asset class. We have a proven track record of 31% ROE, and the business is managed by a team with experience and expertise. I've been with this company for over 6 years. Our lunchroom gossip is about interest rates. Our dealing room arguments are about markets. This is our bread and butter. This is what we do day in, day out. We are Calty, we trade bonds, and this is our specialty. Thank you, guys. Let me hand over the mic to Vishnu Balachandran, who will take you all through the valuation aspect.
Thank you, Damien. A quick glance at the key IPO features. Calty will be raising $412 million by diluting 12.5% of its stakes. IPO will initiate at 10 rupees per share, and the funds raised will be used to strengthen the core capital of the business. And also to take you through the key dates for the IPO, we would have an analyst forum on the 16th of November for the ones who are interested in crunching the numbers, and the IPO opens on the 25th of November. I would like to take a few questions which we have had. We have had very few questions coming in. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to share it with the admin, and we'll be happy to take it at the forum wherever possible. But if we can't take it at the forum, we'll be happy to respond to you personally. Ajit, I think this one is for you. We have heard this question come over and over again when we have taken several other companies public. Why only Calty and not the Cal Group?
Many reasons, but first of all, Calty is the first company that we started in the group. So naturally, it was more ready to be taken public than the holding company. That's one side. On the other side, Calty is the only company in the group that actually needs balance sheet, because as I mentioned before, this is a balance sheet business, and access to capital markets, access to the stock market in order to enhance our capital requirement is always considered a benefit. Currently, we are meeting the minimum capital requirement of central bank, but I foresee two things. One is that minimum requirement will also go up in time, and it's good to have options other than retained profits in case it's needed. So I must say, so far we have managed with retained profits, but if we need, we have access to other sources of money through listing. That's probably the main reason, and also it's good to diversify our investor base without just totally relying on the parent company. One other reason is lots of people over the years have wanted to get involved with a primary dealer business, but they cannot because it's as Damien said, it's a very specialized area. Now, through this share issue, we are giving the option to all people to take part in this very lucrative but specialized market.
Thank you, Ajit. Two things that were highlighted in the presentation were returns and risk. We have two questions covering these areas. In terms of returns, what do you expect profitability to be for the financial year 21-22?
As Damien mentioned, our average ROE is around 31% in the Cal Group. But this year is very difficult year for the industry. We might not achieve that target. So, but we will end up with a positive figure, I think. That's what I get.
Thank you, Mr. Balivarna. And with risk comes controversy. I think, Shamali, you will have to take this. Several non-bank PDs have licenses which have been revoked. What does this hold for Cal?
I am not in a position to comment on other primary dealers, but as far as Cal is concerned, we have very stringent risk management procedures in place, and we also follow the central bank directions and guidelines and are compliant with all of the processes and procedures that they have set up for us. So I think we can safely say that we can safeguard the shareholders' capital because we have sufficient risk mitigant processes in place at Cal.
Thank you, Shamali. Question about dividend payouts. Is there a proposed dividend payout ratio, and what would that range be?
There again, we have some, like a policy. We try to distribute something between 25 and 50% of the profits we make on a particular year. Historically, I think we are at around 35% going back in history. Thing is, we have to also build the company's capital base, so we can't distribute everything we make. On the other hand, we also need to reward the shareholders. So that would be what we would expect going forward as well.
Thank you, Ajit. What do you think you do better than your competitors?
I think this was highlighted a few times during the presentation. I think, firstly, our prudent risk management framework over the last 20 years, we have done a lot to ensure that we have a risk framework in place that safeguards the shareholders' capital. So as was highlighted previously, it goes all the way up to the board level. And secondly, our interest rate forecasting. We have invested heavily in technology that allows us to forecast macroeconomic variables. And interest rate forecasting is the backbone of our decision making. So the success of our decision making over the years, I think, is attributed to that. So those I would highlight as our two key strengths.
There are a couple of questions around valuation and key dates, which I will take at the end. But before that, I think, Ajit, back to you. What are the long-term growth plans of Cal Treasuries?
So the market that we are in is one of the fastest growing markets. The government debt market, obviously, is one of the fastest growing markets. So we plan to grow together with the market. So that's one area of growth for us. That's why we are strengthening our balance sheet, because we will grow our balance sheet and our business volumes going forward. But more importantly, we started off wanting to be a securities house, which means we want to trade other instruments other than government securities. Currently, we are allowed to trade a very limited amount. Something like 5% of our portfolio can be in securities other than government securities, corporate debt and equity. We hope that in time to come, that percentage or that quantum will increase, and we will get into more and more dealing in those instruments. Finally, there is also a large underdeveloped market of the derivatives market, and this is somewhere that we see that we could potentially get involved in future years. We want to be a securities house. As you know, in advanced countries, you have securities companies that are as large or bigger than some of the banks. So that is our ultimate goal. We want to build a large, profitable and stable securities firm in this country.
Profits aside, sustainability, people, planet, this is one question stakeholders are interested about. What are your thoughts on that?
So being in the type of business that we are in, I mean, things like environment and all are less of a, we are less impacted by those, or we cause less impact. But what we look at is our core mission, or why we set up CAL, was to help the country in its growth, to help the country's economy grow. And we do that through capital markets. And that is how we actually see our contribution to society. By helping the economy to grow, I think we are helping society enough. And secondly, from the governance point of view, I think we try to, I mean, as Shamali said, our whole focus has been on risk and governance. So that's the other side that we really like to emphasize on.
Thank you, Ajit. Something about volatility and returns. Historically, maybe over the past 10 years, what do you think your high-low in terms of ROEs have been?
I think Damien highlighted in a couple of years, we have exceeded even close to 45% on ROE, which is when interest rates were falling. But even if you take a rising interest rate market, there's more volatility in the market, which gives us more opportunity to make trading calls. So it's not all doom and gloom during that period. There's still opportunity for primary dealers to profit. And I think the couple of years highlighted where we managed to just break even or just above maintain positive profits was a couple of examples of that.
So I would say sum it up as 5 to 50 would be the range. Thank you. I'll take the questions on valuations. There are two questions on valuations. One is with regard to valuation techniques used to value the company, And the second question is around why invest at this at 1.2 times when the average banking and finance sector is at half that valuation metric. In terms of valuation of the company, we had to get an independent valuer to value the company because the managers to the issue and the company concerned are related parties. And they use two approaches. One is a more dividend kind of approach, which speaks about a dividend discount model, and primarily used a justified price to book. So the valuation range arrived there was, I would say, 12.10 to 12.30, and the price of 10 rupees was identified as an 18% discount to the valuation methods or valuation range arrived by the independent valuers. In terms of why would someone come in for this at 1.2 times? Given the lack of, I would say, comparables in the market, this gets classified under banking and finance sector. It's easy to just cluster everything in, but the operating models of a bank, finance company, or a primary dealer would be significantly very different. While the bank has a more diverse portfolio, primary dealers deal with government securities, which eliminates credit risk to a great extent. And secondly, if you look at the return aspect of it, primary dealers on average have been able to generate twice the returns of what banks have been able to. So considering the return aspects of it and also the risk involved, yes, leverage trading involves risk, but the credit aspect is removed. Given these two aspects, I think we have factored in when we arrived at the valuation of 10 rupees per share, which is at 1.2 times the net asset value per share. And we have one more question. What are the biggest external or internal threats to your business from your perspective? How do you plan to mitigate these?
So from a business angle, we have the natural risk of interest rate movements going against what we think or what we predict. And that is where our risk management strategies that really come into play. And we have streamlined, actually, funnily, as much as we pay attention to our trading strategies, we pay equal attention to our risk management strategies. Because making the money is actually relatively easy compared to keeping the money. So I would say the biggest threat is interest rate risk, and we have managed to take care of that issue by stringent attention to risk management. Other than that, I mean, competition, the good thing in this market is the competition is with ourselves. Whether another primary dealer makes money or not doesn't really affect us. It's our own balance sheet, our own profit. So there is no competition in that sense from other primary dealers or the banks. So the biggest threat is, of course, the interest rate risk that we face.
Thank you, Ajit. And we have a few more questions, but due to limitation of time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll respond to each and every one of your questions personally and individually back to you. Just to reiterate and highlight the key dates involved, 16th is the Analyst Forum. We'll be rolling out invites for that. All the number crunchers, that is your time period there. And we would like to invite all of you to join us on the 25th on our journey forward. Thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.